we not only retained our current schools, which is INSEAD, I think MIT and Columbia, we added 3 top schools on top of it. That was your first 5 minutes. I quietly I got off my chair, went out, told my EA, cancel my meetings for the whole day because I've never seen progress like that.
Wow. You should have told me this before. I'd have been so happy. So we started Eruditus in 2010. This is my second startup. So after I sold my first startup, we waited for a year. And our mission, Chet and I's mission and why we started was to make high quality education accessible and affordable. So the idea was how could we get that kind of education to you, right? And India was kind of our first clear market that we were focused on. It was a classroom business when I met you.
Right, I remember that.
So it was India, it was classroom, and we were profitable from 2010 till about 2017. But like I said, we were working with one university at a time. Our first partner was INSEAD, then Wharton, then the next year was MIT, really trying to work with the elite top institutions. At that time, Pankaj, did we imagine we would be so successful and it'll become a global business and online? No. But I will say that when we met you the first time, you did say, no, we weren't at the right stage for investment. But the feedback you gave us was, you are very classroom, you need to go online. Online is more scalable, and that's when you'll have a real business. And in some sense, after you invested, you helped us on that journey. Yeah. Maybe that's kind of helped build the foundation for where we are today.
Yeah, no, super excited. You know, I still remember when we first met, and I can tell you, not that you've been very successful and we've had a good journey at that time or during this period with you. Also, I just could not say no to you. I don't know whether you remember that or not, but even in your offline avatar, the kind of driven entrepreneurs you were, the kind of humility you had, and you still have it with you, and on top of that, the kind of partners you had cracked, which you don't do until unless you have significant education and academic depth. There was so much to like about you guys and your business that I still remember I took probably about 2 months talking to you. But everything barring aside, that offline piece was working so beautifully well that I'm so glad that you asked for a second meeting in what, about a year and a half after that?
Yeah, but you know, the feedback you gave was very valid, and also it was very constructive, which is why a year back we came back. Bertelsmann has a lot of experience in education globally as well. And you gave us some examples of your portfolio companies that had 5-year, 7-year, in fact in one case I think a 15-year contract with the university.
Synergis and later Hot Chalk and so on, yes.
And we realized that, wow, there's actually something to learn here. So you know, even beyond the money, what we've learned in our journey of going online and also going global.
So Pranjal told me just probably about an hour earlier than from the meeting that, listen, Ashwin is coming in to give an update of where he is with the journey. And I said, listen, I've had such a great relationship with Ashwin. I need to come in. I have to run for another meeting, but I'll come and spend half an hour in the meeting at least, because I at least owe that to Ashwin. He's coming all the way. So let me spend half an hour with Ashwin. I enter the meeting and this is what you said. I still remember that. And by the way, I quote that in multiple meetings on how an entrepreneur has created magic and wowed investors. You said, Pankaj, we were $4 million in revenue at that time, or $3 to $4 million of revenue when we met you a year back. We are now 8 or 9. Okay. Out of which offline is $3-4 million only. We've not grown that business, but every new growth has come from online. And guess what? When we migrated from offline to online, we not only retained our current schools, which is INSEAD, I think MIT and Columbia, we added 3 top schools on top of it. That was your first 5 minutes. I quietly I got off my chair, went out, told my EA, cancel my meetings for the whole day because I've never seen progress like that.
Wow. You should have told me this before. I'd have been so happy.
Yeah, and I walked in and that meeting went on for 4 hours. And when I had come out of that room after 4 hours, in my mind, I was very sure we were partnering. And that, by the way, is the magic of Ashwin for me.
Our pivot to online happened because of our early conversation. It's not like we knew that sitting in India in 2010, did anybody know that there'll be a Coursera in 2013, there'll be an edX in 2014, and there'll be an Emeritus, that launched in 2015 that will do so well. Nobody knew this.
Yeah.
But you kind of planted that seed. We nurtured it a little bit, and then this journey has played out also, very nicely. So we are very grateful, and I say this with all our listeners. That we're very grateful for that, that initial handholding that you and Bertelsmann did.
Thank you very much. Very, very kind.
So Pankaj, our mission has always been to make high quality education accessible and affordable.
Right.
So the 3 important things into that. One is high quality. Right? It does matter that when somebody comes into a course and to what they are at the end of the course, there's a delta. Right? And so we work with institutions that have that similar kind of vision of delivering high quality, but we also add a whole layer of services around that, whether that's student support, live teaching, building our own assessment rubrics, etc., to make sure that high quality is ensured. The second one is equally important, which is access. Affordability, which is the third pillar, is important, right? Especially when you work, 2/3 of our students are outside the United States, about 1/5 of our students are in India. So affordability makes a very important part to getting a high quality education. So we work a lot on that, but access goes beyond that. There's a lot of these things that we work on. Honestly, it still feels like day zero because there are 20,000 universities in the world. We're working with 70.
Right.
So I'm not making an investor pitch.
No, that's
but the way I clearly think about it, and look, our goal is not to go and work with 20,000, but that 70 can easily be 150, 200. And then even within those, they have so many professional schools, right? We're really working with the business schools, to some extent, the engineering schools.
Right.
But we can go deeper in that. We can go to medical, we can go to education, we can go to public health, so much to do, right? So it's exciting. If I have to encapsulate the mission in kind of a number, last year we touched the lives of about 250,000 students.
That's amazing.
And again, who imagined, right? 250,000. And maybe in the next 3 to 5 years, I don't know exactly when, if we can get that number to 1 million students across the world, that would be a big, hairy, audacious goal that is worth kind of working towards.
Absolutely. I think you truly kind of said that the opportunities for Eruditus, Emeritus are so strong that we, even sitting next to you as investors, feel so excited about it. The journey that retail companies did, including building of Amazon, a lot of other companies around it, a lot of other ancillary companies that feed into e-commerce, whether it's e-commerce enablement and so on, we feel the same is going to happen to EdTech. We have probably now passed the 2005 era. We are entering the 2006, 2007 era of retail in EdTech, and the next 10 years are going to define where the Alibabas and the Amazons of EdTech are going to get built. And higher education and skilling EdTech, in my mind, should be global, which is exactly what you are. K-12 by nature is a very local business. So yes, you can have a large company, and we've seen Byju's do very well, but in my mind that those would be addition of multiple K-12 businesses added together to build a large company, versus you being a truly global company from day one and building it out, because that opportunity is very global. But when we look at hence the skilling and the higher education piece, we are so excited with the kind of journey we still have to take for the next 10 odd years, and we are so happy that Eruditus with you guys will be and already are in the forefront of that global revolution that is happening. It is just a great time to be here. So Eruditus for us is a very, very special investment for multiple reasons. The first big reason, Ashwin, is you and Chet having extremely deep chemistry with us and building it up in a fashion where we have had a lot of fun in this journey. Honestly, as Bertelsmann, and we are extremely global, there are 100 ways for us to make money. If we have to then work and kind of make money, we rather do it where we enjoy. And we feel that you guys, for the last 5 odd years, the way we've worked together is just phenomenal, and I'm so proud of that. What you've ended up achieving is just been amazing. We of course like to have a little bit of fun on the side. We play competitive table tennis, where today we played in the morning and you beat me left, right and center very badly.
It was close. I don't think I beat you left, right and center. But
2-1. You had 2 games and I had 1 game which we won. So that is winning. But you know, those are the fun moments. But on top of that, I think another 2 things which I feel very excited about. One is of course the Bertelsmann Association. We are trying to build an extremely large education business, and with you guys we are not only enjoying the fruit of all the amazing innovation you're doing, we are also seeing what innovation is working and not working, and hopefully at some point some of our businesses which are also innovating in their own ways can learn from you as you learn from them. So that obviously is a thesis. But more importantly for me as Pankaj, backing a company which I think will be a global leader, is already a global leader in a sense, but has the potential of being an Amazon equivalent in EdTech, is probably the reason why I would become a venture capitalist. So for multiple reasons, we are super excited. We have a lot of fun together, and I must say that we want to continue building the company with you guys. At some point as investors, we will get exits, we will probably get out, but we continue to be deep supporters of what you're doing, whether we are inside the cap table or outside.
And actually, you saying that means a lot, Pankaj. So thank you.
That's a good answer.
So as we think forward, right? Like I said, I still believe we're early in our evolution, because there's so much to be done. The skill gaps are only getting wider, and every 3 months, 6 months, we come up with areas where we say, wow, we didn't know there's such a large skill gap in this area. For example, in the US and much so in India as well, there's a massive nurse shortage. And if you think about solving that problem, that's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity, right? And you look at a market like India, is there an opportunity in vernacular? With the new NEP and the government's framework of saying online degrees is allowed, it's a massive opportunity to partner with Indian institutions and help them in that online journey, right? In fact, one of the reasons we like Bertelsmann as an investor, and you had said this to us, is you're owned by a foundation at the very highest level. And so you have a long-term view on things, and we have a very long-term view on things. We're not looking to just sell the company and then retire. We love what we do, and so I see us building this for many years to come. You know my theory on new S-curves, you know my theory on box 1, box 2 and box 3.
Right.
And so we spend a lot of our time thinking about what's the next X-curve in higher education. What's box 3? What's the future like of higher education that we should be doing something today about to create it? And that's very exciting. As an entrepreneur, that's what you want, right? You don't want a dull moment where you're doing the same thing again and again. You want some new excitement in life. It's great if the same company gives you that opportunity.
This is a fantastic time, and I think one thing that you have done very well is you've focused in building your core business. You then focus also in building the next S-curve and go deep there once you have conviction that this will be very deep, but also then incubating the new S-curves. In fact, recently the conference that happened, which was your story, Pranjal was there from your side, we talked about S-curves and how they play a very important role in opening up adjacent areas and building an extremely large outcome. Which brings me to this question that, look, everybody keeps talking about a $1 billion valuation, which is unicorn. You are on path to do $1 billion revenues. Do you think that's a good goal to have, and what next out of that?
See, I think valuation is an output metric. It's always easy to get carried away by it. But really, as an entrepreneur, you have to worry about the input metrics. So look at your NPS, look at your gross margin, look at your CAC, look at your LTV, look at how happy your people are. Do you have the right people at the right places? All of those things. Look at new S curves. Think about the longevity of the business. It's, you know, and as an entrepreneur, you have to make sure that you have the team and you have the right skill sets as you know, to go from that 100 to a billion. So I would say that you have to look at all of these things. Sometimes you also have to do box 2, which is forget certain things. But 100 to a billion, you need processes, you need systems, you need people who can lead through systems versus kind of hands-on, actually getting nuts and bolts, etc. You need to be that kind of a leader. So it's a bit of a reinvention. It's not rocket science, but you really need to think carefully about reinventing yourself for that journey. I always find it a little rich for me to be giving advice to anybody. But since the question kind of is what advice do I have for founders, and since I'm talking to a VC, a very successful one, let me just say this. Very often people select an investor based on valuation. And somehow this is the be all and end all of what makes somebody happy. But any term sheet has other things there apart from just valuation, right? And so I think those equally matter. You have to think it's 5 years and 7 years. There'll be ups, there'll be downs. First thing is, do you like these people? Do you want to spend time with them? Like, do I want to play TT with Pankaj? Absolutely yes. And so I'm more happy, working with you. I'm more likely, even if there were downs, and every relationship we've had some ups, actually many ups. But we have some areas where we will disagree. And is this the kind of person that I can talk to face and have an open conversation? That I think is very, very, very important. And the second thing is, ultimately the fundamentals of the business, right? The unit metrics, what you're building, the large problem that you're solving. I can say this, Pankaj, with clarity of thought. We never started to build a unicorn. We started saying, hey, we're excited to make high quality education accessible and affordable because we were the beneficiaries of that. Start with trying to solve a problem. This is actually the biggest advice I can give to an entrepreneur is be passionate about what you're doing, solve a problem that you care about.
That's exactly your theory of output and input metrics. Right? That's an output metric, being a unicorn. Input is focus on what you're passionate about and keep doing that.
Right, and so the success rate on being a startup or being a unicorn, etc., is very low. Now, I'm not dissuading people, but what I'm saying is don't start with that as your goal. Start with a problem. Start with an area that you maybe have personally gone through an issue and you want to, solve that for hundreds and thousands of people. That is the better sure shot recipe for success than trying to get
valuation or terms or whatever.